Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's tech expert, but first, we want to give a shout out to all of our great sponsors. Now, take the next 3 minutes. Don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. You should be using them too. So listen to our shout outs, won't take long. Then listen to our Tech Tuesday expert, and then go and visit these sponsors, particularly the ones you're not already using. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. All right, here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Now, if you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the different events, or to show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com. Take a look at their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. They're also a great way to tell your school's unique history and brag a little bit about your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast, vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank our friends at Hometown Ticketing. Hometown's the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. If it's more support, more security, or more customization, the Hometown Ticketing team will help you make the best online ticketing solution. That's hometownticketing.com. We'd like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from Ohio, but my assistant AD did, and it was a great experience. It's very affordable, just 20 months, totally online. And while you're completing your master's degree, you're also completing 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. The website is ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters. We want to thank our friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. When I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, all of our coaches, just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there is so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We'd like to thank our friends at Gipper. You know, your students are on social media, and if they're not seeing content that celebrates their accomplishments and promotes your program, you're missing out on a great opportunity. Gipper's used and trusted by over 20,000 high school and college programs. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com. Their team will have you creating world-class content, whether it's a social media post for a game or a weekly newsletter that's telling your side of the story. Make sure you go to Gipper.com. As always, mention the podcast. That's Gipper.com. We'd like to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We'd like to thank our good friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day, whether it's scheduling, rosters, results, their student athlete eligibility and clearance platform alone is worth the price. For more information, just go to homecampus.com. That's it. Don't forget to mention the podcast, homecampus.com. We want to thank Snap Raise for their support. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and then been disappointed in the results? Those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with tremendous success. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it because it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. Go to snapraise.com. And we'd like to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Now, athletic directors already get feedback, but a lot of times it's from a very small group that just wants to complain. Athletic surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% of your stakeholders that support your program. And having that kind of positive data is incredibly valuable, especially when you're meeting with that frustrated parent or student athlete, or maybe your principal or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. Longtime listeners will know the name Vital Signs Wall of Fame. They've been one of our great sponsors almost since the very beginning. But we're in for a treat today. We've got the founder and the CEO of Vital Signs, John Townsend, with us. John has an incredible background in, athletics and business and promotion and technology, and he's going to share some of that with us today. So, John Townsend, welcome to Tech Tuesday.
Well, thanks, Jake, and thanks for having me. And I appreciate everything that you and your podcast does for education-based athletics. And so it's great. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you. Full disclosure for our listeners, you hear me say this every week. I only have sponsors that I used as an athletic director. And I met John and became aware of the whole Vital Signs, let's say, gallery of products when I was still an athletic director here in Florida with our state association, the FIAAA. And they had a great partnership with John. He's at our conference every year, does a great job. We actually, our organization has a Wall of Fame console that we use for our Hall of Fame and for other things, but it's just a tremendous product. So, John and I go back a ways. John, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So, give us that quick bio. We're going to talk about the platform, but let's hear about you. What's your origin story?
Sure. So my educational background is mostly in computer engineering and accounting and business. So I landed exactly where I was supposed to land in my career. I started off at CompuServe in the 80s and 90s and started my first software company in 1997. In 2004, Vital Signs actually became a customer of that software company. And then in 2011, I purchased Vital Signs and combined the two of them together to become both a software and digital signage company. We launched the Wall of Fame product in 2017, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. But a lot of my understanding for educational-based athletics comes from a couple of different areas. I was a football official when I was younger, and I kind of wish it was something that I'd hung on to because I understand there's a need now, and it was a lot of fun, but life got busy and kids got in the way, and I just kind of dropped out of that. Um, I also owned a dance studio for 10 years, and it was the dance studio where I really began to kind of learn what an extracurricular activity could really do to elevate students as they work their way through school and high school and try to become fully functioning adults, if you will. And so it was really amazing to me when I first got involved in dance, how much I referred to as, dance does for these girls, what yours here, football has done for these boys. And it's really kind of neat to see the camaraderie and the teamwork and just the maturity of the kids as they got through the dance program.
That was something that I really didn't know about your background, but in athletics, we always talk about teaching skills and things that can be used for a lifetime. I haven't gone out and played tackle football for a few years now, but those kids that come up through dance programs, boys and girls,
Yep.
some of them go on to college, but again, that's an activity that they can literally do for the rest of their lives, and it has great cross application. You hear about athletes, high level athletes that do dance and ballet and things that allow them to perform better in football, basketball, etc. That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah, and we have some graduates that are doing it professionally. And we got a lot of kids scholarships from dance, and so it is something that does really correlate a lot with what schools do with athletics. Is what we were able to do independently with the studio. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Share if you can, because we have time. Share a little bit. You and I were talking, and you said that it was this experience, with the dance studio and the dance athletes that kind of gave you just maybe some clarity with the value that the athletic and the competitive experience has for kids. Can you share a story or two? You don't have to
Sure.
mention any names of
Oh
where
no,
you
it's easy.
saw that play out.
Well, it's easy because when my oldest daughter, who's a lot older now, was 3, 4, 5 years old, I was just your typical dance dad. I went to the recital, I watched the 3-year-olds dance, and I went home, right? And then for some reason, one year when she was probably 5 or 6, I had to go to dress rehearsal for the a larger show. And what I noticed in dress rehearsal were all the high school girls at that time on the stage, warming up, preparing, talking through stuff, just getting ready for that performance. And it just reminded me a lot of athletes getting ready for a game. And it really was there that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to mean the world to my children if they go through this process, in terms of doing what you're supposed to be doing as a parent, which is growing an adult. So I really did a transformation from just being a dance dad to understanding the value that dance could have for my children to then wanting to actually go out and provide that value because of course we thought we could put it together program together better than the ones that were in town here, and we had a lot of success with over 1,000 students, probably a couple of dozen of them dancing professionally now, and probably twice that got scholarships in college to help with their college education. So, and we always wondered whether it was the really good students that made the really good dancers or the really good dancers that made the really good students. But the fact of the matter is, it's both, right? It's the same discipline that you need to succeed at both things has worked out there. And I'll just say one more thing real quickly. I came into this space, the athletic director space, not knowing a lot about what athletic directors did, not knowing a lot about what athletic programs were like in high schools. And it's been a real joy over the last 7 years to really get to know that through talking to athletic directors, working with state associations, working with the NIAAA. And it's the ability to tie that back to being a dance studio owner that really sort of brings all that together. And so it's been a very, very enjoyable experience for me to get to know everybody along this process.
Oh, well, I appreciate you sharing that. It's a great segue into our next segment. And
Yep.
again, for our listeners, um, this product that John's going to share a little bit more about, it is a tremendous value added feature for your school, for your district, if you're not already using it. And John speaks about getting to know the athletic director world. It can be kind of a closed off world. We're very cliquey. John is very much a part of that world. He knows what ADs work with, deal with, if you will, and he's all about helping ADs find solutions. Um, John, you talked about how you were at one company and you ended up, buying, the Wall of Fame. Let's go and talk a little bit about that whole origin story, and then let's really take a deep dive into the platform.
Sure. So basically, we ended up combining a digital science company and a software company together in 2011. And the idea at the time was to try to start to produce products. And we had a couple of stumbles in producing products until in 2017, a couple of athletic directors from Central Ohio came to us with the idea for the Wall of Fame product. So because again, as I said, we really didn't know anything about what we were getting into. We put a couple of focus groups together with Central Ohio athletic directors to try to understand what the problem space was like, how this solution would fit, and what we could do to help athletic directors with some of the issues that they were facing. And the big ones that came out of that particular focus group were, well, they're running out of room. Okay, so their trophy cases are full, their walls are full, there's no room for plaques. You can't put all the trophies in that you want to now. You got to take one out to put one in, and it just becomes this whole rigmarole to do that. Also, if you're going through a new school build or a significant remodel, you can't always put the plaques back up. You don't always get the same amount of trophy space because of the way the architecture is these days. So there really was initially about being a space saving thing. But the statement that came out of that AD focus group that really stuck with me, and probably the reason we built the product, was because one of them said, we're not communicating with our audience the way they're used to consuming information. The static displays on the walls of the school are quite frankly becoming wallpaper to the kids that are walking by it, where the interactive digital experience that you can get from the Wall of Fame is something that actually draws kids' attention into it and allows them to immerse themselves in kind of that history of the school. So if you want to go on to the origin story a little bit now, I can kind of walk my way through sort of how we developed this over time. Very quickly, probably in the first year we did this, we came to understand that we had built a generic content platform that was not only just good for athletics, but also good for academics, the arts, key alumni in any field that they went out in, whether you put yearbooks on it, class composites on it, student artwork, high school musicals go on it really well. And so now all of a sudden funding a Wall of Fame at a high school became it had a much broader set of stakeholders in it, right? It became a much easier thing to do because you weren't just trying to get something else for athletics, but this was now something that could actually encompass the achievements of kids across the entire spectrum of the building. So that allowed us to now broaden our reach from just athletics to full school athletics, to talk more to principals, talk more to superintendents, and work our way through the athletic or the educational system that way. Then after that, we realized we could go a lot deeper too. So in addition to going wider, we could go deeper. You can now tell a much more compelling story about that championship team or that all-state performer than just a name on a plaque or a trophy from a championship. So you can put things on a wall of fame for a championship team that include all of the game results from the season, tournament brackets, stats for individual players, videos of key plays and celebrations, along with written text and pictures. And so it's a much more compelling story and a much more compelling display of what you went through to gain that championship than just the trophy sitting in the trophy case.
Yeah, boy, that's great. Again, for our listeners, if you're not familiar with the product, you need to go to the website, vitalsignswalloffame.com, look at the gallery. But just imagine, if you will, just for, short, and John, you correct me if I go wrong here. I'm going to keep it simple. Imagine athletic directors in your gym lobby, somewhere in a prominent place in your school. You have a massive big screen console. It can be mounted on the wall, can be on a stand, but and oh, by the way, it's touch screen, so it's touch activated. It's your entire school's athletic history, the district championships, the state championships. Oh, let's have a section here for the Hall of Fame from inception to what it currently is, photographs, text, quotes from you or others. You can even incentivize it for sponsors, have sponsor messages there. Uh, you can tell the story, your school's unique story, right in that one space. And as John said, we all have that hallway or that case somewhere that's overflowing with first place finishes, second place finishes, things like that. Imagine it all. And again, who's going to get after this? The kids are going to get after this, and they're going to go home and tell their parents about it. It really is, as I like to say, a value added feature for your athletic program. John, did I do okay?
You did. You actually did a very good job there, Jake. I do want to add one thing to that. And education-based athletics, we talked about this a little bit earlier, isn't really about the wins and losses. It's about turning young people into strong adults. But everything that we put on the wall of our schools to celebrate these kids, it's about championship teams and wins and losses. And so if we're going to be about education-based athletics and we're going to be about kind of uplifting the entire student, there's a bunch more compelling stories. And I'll touch about them in a minute here. These kids are doing some really great things to win these championships. These kids are doing really great things because they won these championships in school and beyond. And so there's significantly more stories that I think are more compelling to the next generation that come up than just seeing the championship that was won. And I think we can get a lot more involvement in school activities and so forth by telling better stories about the things that have happened in the building before.
Yeah, and again, you're absolutely right. Thanks for sharing that. And it doesn't just have to be, those school records and those district championships. It can be your scholar athlete of the week or, all of your scholar athletes. It can be a feature story. Every Monday, every Friday, you come out with one of these stories about what one of your student athletes or a coach is doing in the community with community service. Talk about your community service programs. The thing I like about it is parents or community members, they're going to talk about your program, whether you do anything or not. Why don't you, as an AD, take control of that narrative and let them know about all the positive things that your student athletes, your coaches, and your athletic program is doing? And what better way to do it in a bright, your school colors display that, again, it's touchscreen, very easy to operate, very easy to maneuver. Our Wall of Fame unit at the FIAAA State Conference is always, there's a lineup to it because people want to see it. They want to see those stories of just our organization. Imagine what it would be like for your school. Um, John, you and I were talking before. NADC is coming up. You got a couple, things that you're going to be, I guess, launching is the correct word. Can you share those with our listeners?
Yeah, it is, and I appreciate the opportunity to do this. So this fall, so basically, what the way this works is, as we evolve from being a technology company to being a content company to being a storytelling company, our focus shifted from having engineers to having content folks. So what I tell people is two-thirds of our staff right now are on our content team, and they're responsible for developing compelling content for the Wall of Fame. Well, we realized then that we also have a value we can add here to schools that don't have a Wall of Fame. So we launched something this fall called the Spotlight Program. So the Spotlight Program is our creative program that um, builds content, manages content for our Wall of Fame customers, but will also build legacy and historical content for schools that don't have a Wall of Fame. So we have writers on our staff, we have graphic designers on our staff. We'll put together pieces of content for your school to use on your website, in newsletters, and any digital platform that you might have, even if you don't have a Wall of Fame. So let me give some examples, I think is the best way to do this, of some spotlights that we've done. So we've got a school that is spotlighting every member of their Hall of Fame induction classes because all they have on their walls is a name and a graduation year. So now, with the Spotlight program, we're able to go through year by year by year. We go out, we interview the inductee, we interview other people who may have known the inductee, a coach that may have worked with the inductee, and bring together a little bit of a bio and a little more compelling story about each inductee for that school's Hall of Fame. We have a spotlight on a quarterback, a high school quarterback who set a lot of school records, but he also works with the youth in the community to try to encourage them to get into athletics in order to help them get through school. What he would actually do is after every home game is stay on the field and hang out and talk to any kids that wanted to come up to him and play catch with him after a game, win or lose. And that's what the community wanted to talk about this guy. Yeah, he broke these records, but he's one of the greatest role models you could ever have. And that story ended up being a spotlight story. We have a spotlight story on a coach who won Coach of the Year. And we found out she's got 3 mental health degrees and uses her mental health degrees in order to better the lives of the girls that she coaches. We've got a spotlight on sisters that give credit to high school athletics, to giving them the self-confidence to start a foundation for kids who have parents suffering from a health issue. These are the really compelling stories that I think make a difference in a school. And these kids are able to do these things because they play high school athletics. There's a tie-in here between all of these stories and athletics that I just think we're missing when we're not taking the opportunity to do that. So Spotlight is what we're doing because we know school districts don't have the time, especially athletic directors, don't have the time or the skill set to put these stories together. So we're offering that service now to anybody, whether they have a Wall of Fame or not. So if you've got we have a package that does a Hall of Fame induction ceremony package. So we'll put the Hall of Fame induction program together for you. We'll put the slideshow together that you show at your Hall of Fame. So anything that you need done like that that has to do with legacy or historical communications, we would like to be involved in that and help you through that process.
Well, and that's exactly what I was talking about sharing those stories that unless you as an AD, or in this case, the spotlight from Wall of Fame shares it, a lot of times your community is not going to know about it. That very, very cool stuff. Okay. Uh, what else
Yes,
is
it
coming
is.
out at the
Yep, the second
NADC?
one. Yeah, the second one we're launching, which is a little smaller thing, it's called Snapshot. So Snapshot's a mobile platform that we're launching in order to get some of this content in front of students and in front of parents. So this would be something that you might use for an induction ceremony program, an end of year banquet celebration. We have a couple of schools using this as a review of fall sports and then winter sports and then spring sports. So it's just a little mobile program that is kind of a booklet that you would kind of swipe through to see different types of content. Now this particular product is free. So to anybody who has Spotlight content but not a Wall of Fame can then use Snapshot to get that content out in front of their constituents. So we do some work for websites. I mean, high schools are notorious for not having the best websites. Sorry about that. That's just kind of the truth. We can get some content on your website, but we also have a free platform that we can put the content on too, in case you don't have the right platform for that particular content. So that would be our Spotlight, or I'm sorry, our Snapshot program.
I mean, I know it's brand new. Do you have any, in the can right now that you can
We
share?
do, yeah. So if you're coming down to NADC, we absolutely do. So you'll be able to see some down there that have been done by schools across the country. But it is a new product, so we have a limited number of them. But we will have some available to us down there. Also, anybody who understands the Wall of Fame knows what our flip book features in the Wall of Fame that lets you kind of swipe through a booklet on there. It's kind of analogous to that, only you get to take it with you. So we kind of refer to Snapshot as sort of the digital platform for content that's about one thing. Like it's about fall sports. It's about this championship team. It's about this induction ceremony where Wall of Fame is about everything. Right? Everything that's occurred at the school. So that's kind of the way we differentiate between the two. But yes, you'd absolutely be able to see this down in Austin.
Oh, well, that's exciting. For a listener that might not be able to make it down to NADC, how can they find out more about all the things that are available to them at Vital Signs Wall of Fame, or just maybe reach out and pick your brain a little bit
Yep.
as a leader in the industry?
So I believe the best way to do it is with almost every company is to go to our website, which is, as Jake has pointed out, is vitalsignswalloffame.com. We have pricing information on there. We've got information about the Spotlight program on there, but there's also a form on there you can fill out, either ask a question directly on the form or sign up for a demo. We can kind of jump on a Zoom call and run through all of that. I'm with you. If you want to get a hold of me ever, my name is John. So it's John, John, at vitalsignswalloffame.com. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions any AD has. I sell to about a third of the country, so I'm actively involved with ADs and selling the product. So don't be concerned about reaching out directly to me. I'd love to talk to you about that. Would like to highlight one more thing at NADC, if that's okay. We're also launching something called Olympus. It's not really a new product. What Olympus is Olympus is the code name that we have for the newest version of the Wall of Fame product. So we've done a complete overhaul on the Wall of Fame product, and you'll be able to see this now down at in Austin. So this has ridiculously enhanced graphics capabilities. It's purpose-built for storytelling. It's a much more immersive, interactive experience. We're really, really excited about this. This is what happens when a software company gets a chance to do a do-over and do it again, because now we understand the industry. Now we understand our place in the industry. It's a really, really cool product. So if you're an existing customer that hasn't been upgraded to Olympus yet, come by and take a look at it. I believe the combination of Olympus and Spotlight for existing customers will completely change the experience that students and visitors have in your school. And if you're a new prospect, stop by, see what all the fuss is about in terms of what these products are and kind of what they can do to elevate the use of your legacy and the use of your school history to encourage participation and involvement in your school community.
Oh boy, again, that sounds really exciting. I can't wait to see it. Obviously, I'm going to be at NADC. For those of you listening, if you're attending, make sure you stop by the Vital Signs Wall of Fame booth in the exhibit hall. Say hi to John and everybody else from his team. And I always try to spend some time with my sponsors at their booth, so hopefully I'll be there. I can say
Yeah.
hi too.
So our goal is we can't be missed at this year's show. You can't possibly not find us. So I won't give the booth number. I'll rely on my marketing team to actually have built a booth that you can't possibly miss. How's that?
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that too.
Yep.
Uh, well, John, as always, thanks for all you do in our space for athletic directors and educational based athletics. Stay out of trouble in the next couple
Yeah.
weeks or so, and we will definitely see you in
Yeah.
Austin.
I think I can manage 2 weeks, so we'll be okay till I see you down there. All right, thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you do. Thanks.
We'll right back at you, my friend. For listeners, we appreciate you and just remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this segment every week, and just about every day, we try to share stories from the world of athletics along with some best practices on the Educational AD Podcast. We hope you'll come back for the next one. Before we go, obviously, we want to thank all of our sponsors, including Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website. You're going to be very impressed. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. We want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com, start creating world-class content. Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to Huddle.com. The Ohio University Online Masters. Go to ohio.edu/info/MAA. Home Campus. You've heard me say before, it's a platform you're going to use every single day. Go to homecampus.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You should be doing a survey at your school. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Hometown Ticketing. Hometown's the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com for more information. Snap Raise, hands down, the best online fundraiser out there. Go to snapraise.com. And one more time, Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast. Hopefully, we'll see you in Austin. Have a great day.